April 19, 1775, Lexington Pier before dawn, the first shots of the American Revolution. British troops under cover of darkness from Boston, attempted by raiding Lexington and Concord, seize weapons and ammunition stored by colonial militias. However, the news leaked, the militia quickly assembled. Prepare for this upcoming battle, Lexington. It's a small town in Massachusetts. It's small, but on that day, he became the focus of the world. When the British Army arrived, Lexington crouched on the ground. More than 70 colonial militiamen have been occupied. They are facing more than 700 heavily armed British regular troops. Military tensions are extreme. The two sides confronted each other in silence. With a gunshot from an unknown source, history has called it the first gunshot in the world. The battle begins, although the British Army was outnumbered. But the colonial militia stubbornly resisted. Although this battle is not large-scale, but it's extraordinary. Marks the colonies and the British Empire, peaceful relations, complete rupture. The battle continues in Concord. The Concord Bridge is a strategic location. The British Army tried to control this. However, the number of colonial militias continued to increase. Finally drove the British back. At the end of the battle, the British Army suffered heavy losses. A hasty retreat, Lexington and the bumpy battle. Not only is it a small military victory, and here's the thing. He ignited rebellion throughout the colony. Battle of Lexington and Concord, make the colonists aware of. They must engage in more organized resistance. May 10, 1775, the Second Continental Congress was held in Philadelphia. The delegates decided form a formal army to fight against the British. This is the Continental Army. George Washington, this one from Virginia, landlord with extensive military experience, appointed to the Continental Army Commander-in-Chief. The establishment of the Continental Army marks the American Revolution. Formal formation of military power, although at first the Army lacked a uniform, weapons and training, but under Washington's leadership, the Continental Army gradually grew into a force capable of competing with the regular British Army, Washington. Not only is he an excellent military strategist, he also has leadership charm, able to motivate soldiers in the toughest times. Keep fighting. However, the growth of the Continental Army was not smooth sailing. Soldiers often face shortages of supplies, wage arrears, epidemics, and other dilemmas. Many people's long-term and difficult feelings about war, lack of adequate mental preparation. Despite this, at Washington's insistence, the Continental Army is gradually maturing, become the cornerstone of war victory. The early days of the Revolutionary War, both sides are in the tentative stage of military strategy. The British tactic was to quell the rebellion as soon as possible, restore control of the colony. The mainland barracks tried to use guerrilla tactics, delay the fight, preserve strength. June 1775, Battle of Bunker Hill. Although the British eventually captured Bunker Hill, but I paid a heavy price. This battle shows the tenacious resistance of the colonial militia and prove, facing the well-equipped British Army in time, colonial armies can also deliver powerful blows. After the battle, British Commander William Howe showed the esophagus. The war will be more difficult than expected. The next few months, the Continental Army and the British Army, a tug-of-war broke out in Boston. March 1776, the Continental Army was under the command of Washington, successfully forced the British to evacuate Boston. This was an important victory in the War of Independence, boosted the morale of the colony, but it wasn't always going well. In the summer of 1776, the British launched a series of offensives, recaptured New York, and forced the Continental Army to retreat from Manhattan Island. This period was extremely difficult for the Continental Army. Low moisture, fewer troops. Many people doubt whether the victory of the war is visible. Washington used guerrilla tactics and a quick retreat, preserved the core strength of the army. But this year is undoubtedly a country of the Continental Army. As the battle continues, the North American colonies realized, relying on one's own strength, it's hard to beat the mighty UK. Therefore, they began to seek international support, particularly France. France is Britain's old rival. Although in the Youth War lost many colonies, but they were still hostile to Britain early in the war. Colonies are like France and other European countries. A diplomatic mission was dispatched, hoped to acquire knowledge. France was initially on the sidelines, until the victory of the Battle of Saratoga decided to publicly support the cause of American independence. This decision is of great significance. France and the United States sign a Franco-American alliance treaty. The formal announcement of the alliance between the two countries, France begins to provide the United States with military and financial knowledge. France's support not only changed the course of the war, it also enhances the status of the United States in the international community. Other European countries, such as Spain and the Netherlands, join one after another. The pressure on the UK has increased. During this period, warfare became increasingly international. The British had to disperse their forces. Dealing with threats from all sides, only for the Continental Army gained valuable time and space.